Sam Kean, The Tale of the Dueling Neurosurgeons, The History of the Human Brain as Revealed by True Stories of Trauma, Madness, and Recovery. Embark on a fascinating journey through the human brain as revealed by true stories of trauma, madness, and recovery in The Tale of the Dueling Neurosurgeons by Sam Kean. In this summary, you will explore the history of neuroscience and the pioneers who studied individuals with brain damage to uncover the inner workings of the brain. Discover how the lower, middle, and upper regions of the brain control crucial body functions, and learn about the various types of memory and brain disorders. Gain insight of how human consciousness and personality are derived from several brain structures and functions, as well as how researchers unravel the mysteries of the mind.
Decades ago, neuroscience used to mean drilling holes in people's heads. In the past, neuroscience was studied mainly through autopsies of those with brain damage, which led to breakthrough discoveries like the first autopsy of King Henri II of France. Scientists discovered that postmortems provided valuable insights into the inner workings of the brain and helped establish the credibility of autopsies as a means of scientific research. Individuals with brain disorders often perceive the world oddly or behave in unusual ways, which helped researchers ascertain what activities specific brain regions were responsible for. A closer look at the human brain. The human brain is a highly organized organ responsible for various functions. The lower brain controls basic body functions while the cerebellum coordinates movement. Information relayed around the brain and body is done by the middle brain, which contains a set of brain structures known as the limbic system responsible for memory and emotion. More complex functions like planning and decision-making are carried out in the cortex, which is subdivided into four main regions, each specializing in different tasks. The occipital lobes located at the back of the brain process vision, and damage to them can result in hallucinations like in King Henri II's case. Despite appearing as gray lump to the untrained eye, the human brain is highly organized, down to a microscopic level. The power of neurons. Our brain is made up of cells called neurons, which collect and transmit information through electrical signals. The neurons consist of a cell body, an axon, and dendrites. The dendrites gather information directly from the sensory organs or other neurons, and if the intensity of the signal passes a certain threshold, the cell body triggers an electrical signal in response. The signal is passed along the neuron chain until it reaches the brain, where it is processed and orders are sent out to the body. Glial cells, which are less complex than neurons, feed and stabilize the massive neuron network and are equally important. The absence of glial cells has disastrous consequences, as seen in Charles Goutel, who suffered from a syphilis-induced brain infection that killed off his glial cells one by one. The neurons and blood vessels in his brain couldn't get enough nourishment without them, which drove him to insanity. The miraculous neuronal pathways. Neurons communicate through synapses and neurotransmitters, leading to sensory experiences. The elasticity of these pathways enables compensatory growth when a sense is lost. Blind individuals can use echolocation to create a visual experience, revealing the interconnectedness of various brain regions. The specialization of neuron clusters. The brain is made up of specialized neuron clusters that enable humans to identify objects and monitor body parts. These clusters have specific regions that trigger different responses based on the information they process. For instance, the fusiform face area, FFA, helps discern between faces, while the where stream processes the location and movement of objects. Furthermore, the what stream helps identify objects by responding to specific lines, angles, and locations in the visual field. Additionally, the somatosensory cortex monitors body parts and initiates their movements, representing each limb in its gray matter. Therefore, amputees experience sensations in missing limbs because it is still connected to the somatosensory cortex. Brain disorders like face blindness can be a result of issues in the FFA. The brain's ability to form these specialized clusters allows for complex hand-eye coordination and the identification of various objects in the surroundings. Emotions, memories, and good decisions. Our emotions and memories are processed in the limbic system, while good decisions are formed by the frontal lobes. The case studies of Elliot and Phineas Gage illustrate the significance of the connection between these regions. Have you ever found yourself crying before you realized why? This happens because sometimes the brain generates feelings before it processes rational thoughts. Feelings are helpful as they allow you to label incoming information immediately. Emotions and memories are formed in the limbic system, comprising parts like the thalamus, hippocampus, and amygdala. The thalamus recognizes and labels sights and sounds. The hippocampus helps create both short-term and long-term memories. The amygdala plays a role in attention, fear, aggression, hunger, and sex drive. The frontal lobes help plan actions and make choices. To make good decisions, we need the limbic system and rational frontal lobes working together. The case of Elliot, a man who lost his ability to make simple choices after a tumor severed his frontal lobes and limbic system, further highlights the significance of connections between these regions. Elliot's personality, emotions, and memory stayed intact, but he struggled with even basic decisions. Similarly, when a pipe shot through Phineas Gage's brain, blowing out parts of his thalamus and prefrontal lobes, he changed from an honest man into a reckless gambler. These two real-life cases show us how emotions, memories, and good decision-making are all connected in a balance. Exploring hormones and brain function. The limbic system, a set of brain structures, communicates with hormones as well as neurotransmitters. Hormones travel throughout the body and interact with various cells to regulate bodily functions, behavior, and mood. Growth hormone somatropin is released by the pituitary gland, and an imbalance in production results in dwarfism or gigantism. The amygdala, another part of the limbic system, regulates adrenaline levels, aggression, and fear. Damage to the amygdala can cause decreased fear and aggression, memory loss, and a compulsion to put objects in the mouth. The thalamus plays a role in impulse control, and damage to this area can cause spontaneous laughter or crying. In some cases, thalamic tumors can lead to altered sexual orientation. Understanding the role of hormones in the brain is crucial in treating conditions associated with hormone imbalances in the body. The fragile human brain. The human brain, despite being healthy, can malfunction in multiple ways. Sleep paralysis occurs when the brain's paralysis mechanism does not switch off after awakening. Similarly, epilepsy, caused by damaged neurons, results in muscle rigidity, thrashing, and seizures. Specific triggers, such as certain smells or sights, can stimulate seizures. Brain pathologies can also arise from vitamin deficiencies and malnutrition, as inadequate vitamin B1 can cause Korsakoff syndrome. Alcoholics are particularly susceptible to Korsakoff syndrome, which can result in heart failure, anorexia, swollen limbs, memory failure, and compulsive lying. The brain is a delicate organ, and even minor structural changes in information processing can have significant consequences. Understanding memories. The hippocampus in our brain is responsible for forming and processing short and long-term memories. Short-term memories are quickly replaced by new information, while long-term memories are consolidated and stored in the back of the cortex. Our memories are subdivided into three basic types: semantic or declarative memory, procedural knowledge, and episodic memory. The latter is linked to our personal experiences and the limbic system. The truth about left and right brains. You might have heard about being left-brained or right-brained, but the reality is that these labels are a myth. However, the two hemispheres of your brain are specialized for different tasks. The left hemisphere is dominant in language, logical thinking, and theorizing, while the right hemisphere is specialized in spatial skills, movement detection, and facial recognition. The corpus callosum, a set of fibers, connects the two hemispheres of the brain. Capgras syndrome is a situation that arises when a person has a problem with the connection between their fusiform face area and the limbic area. People with Broca's area located in the front center of your left brain hemisphere process language. Meanwhile, Wernicke's area near the back of the left hemisphere is crucial for understanding language. Damage to this area results in Wernicke aphasia, whereby individuals can only talk gibberish. The two hemispheres work together, and our higher cognitive functioning relies on their cooperation. Consciousness and the human brain. The human brain is a complex organ responsible for our consciousness and personality. Although the ancient Egyptians believed the heart was the seat of consciousness, we now know it is the brain that controls our sense of self. Different brain structures and functions are equally important for making us who we are, including memory, emotions, and personal agency. Even the tiniest problem in any of these areas can disrupt our sense of self, leading to bizarre neurological problems like Cotard syndrome or alien limb syndrome. However, a person's sense of self can still remain intact even in the face of severe brain conditions like amnesia. While we've learned a lot about the brain through studying its flaws, there is still much research to be done to fully understand the mysteries of the mind.
In conclusion, The Tale of the Dueling Neurosurgeons presents a captivating depiction of the history of neuroscience and the human brain. Through stories of brain damage, trauma, and recovery, readers are acquainted with the intricate and delicate structure of the brain and the roles different regions play in our day-to-day lives. The book explores various brain disorders, our memory types, and the enigmatic concept of consciousness. As we learn more about the brain through ongoing scientific inquiry, we come to appreciate the intricate balance necessary for proper brain function and the potential the human mind holds.